MP who is likely to vote against it is Conservative MP Rehman Chishti, who is resigned as the Vice Chair of the Conservative Party over the Withdrawal Agreement. Let's bring him in. Now, hello to you.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
All sorts of amendments going on there. Talk us through what you think might happen later on.
Well, I think what we're very clear on is that there is an overwhelming number of members of Parliament from across the board who are clear that the Prime Minister's agreement does not deliver in the national interest for our country. And just answering a key point that was coming up earlier, I think we could have used those 5 weeks that we wasted when this matter was pulled before by the Prime Minister to push further and negotiate further with our European partners. If the vote had taken place then 5 weeks ago, to then go back that week to the European Council and say to those, our European counterparts, to say, look, Parliament does not want this, because exactly the same thing will happen today. What would have happened 5 weeks, and we've lost 5 weeks. And that was the reason why I was very, disappointed with the Prime Minister's strategy, because in answering your question, what will happen today, I think there'll be an overwhelming number of members of Parliament from across the perspective of Parliament who will vote this down.
Okay. What is it about the agreement that so offends you?
Well, I think there are a number of things on that. For a Conservative member of Parliament, we stood on a manifesto in 2017 which said we'll come out of the single market, we'll come out of the customs union, we'll come out of the jurisdiction of the ECJ. And I asked the Vice Chairman of the Conservative parties to go out there and say, hey, the withdrawal agreement that we have, will mean that we'll retake control of our laws, borders and money. But what we have now, with the provisions that have been put in place through the backstop, through the customs union, we will not have the control of our borders, we will not have the final say in relation to disputes on law, which we were promised that would be the case. So I would say it's contrary.
The Chairman of the Party disagrees with you wholeheartedly.
Well, the Chairman of the Party...
He wrote in the Express specifically about that today.
Can I just clarify the point on that? I think the Chairman may want to look at this. The point I made to the Prime Minister yesterday, she said the assurances that she has, with the letters that she has from the European counterparts, have legal clarity. And at the same time, we have a withdrawal agreement. And if you look at the Attorney General's advice on paragraph 2, he says there is no fundamental difference to the advice he had been given before. If there's a dispute between the two, where does it go? It goes under Article 174 to an arbitration panel. But if they can't agree, it goes then to the ECJ, which means that Europe will have the final say on the interpretation of the law on that. So I would say there are real issues, and that's the point I made to the Prime Minister on the floor of the House yesterday. I want the Prime Minister to succeed. I want the best deal. But this is not in line with our commitments that we made at the election, and this is not delivering on the best for our country and doing the trade deals which provide real opportunity for our great country.
So better a no deal then?
Well, I would say, look, I was the one who had always said I wanted a great trade deal. Look, I love our European partners. I want the best deal with them. They are thick and thin part of our lives.
Partners, why do you want to leave?
Well, because the public had mandated. I was not one of those who made it my life to move away from the European Union. I'd always said, look, let's get the reforms. But David Cameron did not bring back substantive reform. Well, look, the paper he brought back wasn't worth what was written on there. So therefore, look, I listened to my constituents, and 65% of them said, look, it was about sovereignty, and they wanted British members of Parliament elected by the British people to have the final say about the laws that govern our country. This does not do that. And answering your question, the reason I want to move away is about democracy, is about respecting the will of the public. And I'll be also frank with you, Brexit meant many things to many people. There wasn't one issue. But what was clear is that we have to respect that will of the people, and that means delivering on Brexit and leaving on the 29th of March.
Want to know what's happening with your crystal ball? Tell me what's going to happen.
Well, I think you've been interviewing politicians from across the board, so you may have a bit more than I do. But look, I raised this point with the number 10 when we had meeting with members of Parliament earlier. What was Plan B? So what is Plan B? And we haven't been given a Plan B. So I would like to know what the Prime Minister's intentions are later. But from what has been done before, when the Prime Minister on Syria decisions had instantly stood up and said what the government's position would be after the vote in Parliament, I think on a matter like this, the Prime Minister has long enough to think about this, and I think there will be an initial response from the Prime Minister. I think the long term, go back and renegotiate. If not, I would say a clean break, no deal, World Trade Organization rules in which 165 countries work on is something which we need to actively look at.
A bit like the Prime Minister, we're out of time. It's good to talk to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks.